And 3, 2, 1, and we're live. And then at 20, you go into real estate.
Yeah,
What was that like?
it was crazy. It was really crazy. I was at this point in my life that I was like, okay, Brett, what are you gonna do? Like, you're 2 years out of high school. I was drywalling. I was making really, really good money, but it was at that point where I was kind of starting to get trapped, and I was like, okay, if I move out and I stay drywalling, making this good money, I'm probably never gonna stop. I'm never gonna leave. And yeah, the guys I drywalled with, I was always really personable, super talkative. I was like making my way up the ranks in my drywall company, getting to that point where I was going to be a foreman and kind of be in charge of a couple other people. Um, and so I thought, do I really want to be, doing this for the rest of my life, hurting my back? Like I was putting up 10-foot sheets. I don't know if you know what drywall, half inch, super heavy stuff above your head and, drilling. It is so hard on the body. I was 19 years old and I could like barely sleep because my back was so messed up. And I was like, okay, this is not good.
Yeah.
Like I'm taking a lot of, Advil every day, and it's like, man, this is not, I got to work smarter, not harder. So I was like, what can I do? So I asked my mom what she thought I could do, and she's like, well, you could get into car sales, you go work at the bank, or you could start selling real estate. And I was like, real estate. I hadn't really thought about it. So I went to Sutton because my mom used to sell cars for the Mathesons, and the Mathesons owned Sutton. So I went there and I was like, hey, I'm K.Kentala. I'd love to maybe think about selling real estate. And I sat down with him for maybe a half hour, and he was like, yeah, you got to sell real estate. He was like, I can tell you're going to do really good. Go get your license, and then we'll go from there. So right away, got my license. From when I started, it was 6 months, I think. And then I was fully licensed. Took my test, passed it the first try. At that time, you needed 65% to pass, and now you need 70. And you also need like a English, I think, university degree, or you need to take your English 101 or something.
Okay.
If you didn't take English 12, which I did, so it was all good. I got 66 on my exam, so passed by 1%.
Just perfect, eh?
Just studied the right amount,
Yeah.
I like to say. Um, and then, yeah, the rest is history, man. Right away, I started hitting the pavement, like listed my first property um, with a buddy. Went with another buddy, bought a house in Cultus Lake. So right away, I started getting business from my core sphere of influence. So when you're starting, it's called using your sphere of influence, which is like the main people in your life,
Yeah.
kind of like your family, your really close friends. And then you're supposed to stem out to them and say, hey, I'm getting into real estate. Do you guys know anybody? Do you guys have any friends in your sphere of influence who are looking to buy or sell? And that's kind of how you get started. Um, how I got started was I just hustled my ass off. Like there was not a day that I wasn't on the pavement handing out flyers or knocking on doors. I mean, back then it wasn't COVID, so that was really like promoted.
Yeah.
I would do anything, man. Like I went into listing presentations and I'd be like, I will mow your lawn. I will trim your hedges. Like I'll pull all your weeds. I will clean your house. Like back then, I was going up against the Sarah Toops, the Russ Baileys of all
The established.
the established, the huge players in real estate. And when you're going up against them, and you're a 19, 20-year-old kid who has never even bought in a house himself, and you're trying to gain the trust of someone on their biggest investment of their life, it's not easy.
Yeah.
It's definitely not easy. So what I would say to you or to anyone who is wanting to get into real estate and might think I'm too young, I can't go up against those big players. I would say just tell them how hard you're going to work. That's what I did. I was like, listen, I know those people are great realtors and they sell a lot of stuff, but they got a lot of clients, okay? You're all I got. Like you're it. So I'm putting 100% of my effort into you, and like that's what I can guarantee them. Like that's why I was taking my dad's lawn equipment and mowing people's lawns, because that's the only way I was getting business, was basically just saying, I'm going to work my ass off. You're going to see me work my ass off, and I'm going to get your place sold. And that's what I did.
Well, that's like round 2 or 3 now of you being able to look forward. And with Mattias, you knew that you needed to do this properly and have a certain approach long term if you
Yeah.
wanted it to work.
Yeah.
Then you move into real estate. You knew that you needed to have a certain approach in order to succeed, and you're willing to do the grinding work,
Yeah.
think outside the box, and consider, how can I make this sale more interesting to the person? How can I, and
Mm-hmm.
thinking of the lawn mowing, the bringing a bottle of water, that's so rare now.
Yeah.
If you think about how often we tip people and they don't do anything,
Yeah.
and we have a different relationship with work ethic now, so it's really cool to hear that you're willing to do those things and put in that grind.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably nice moving away from hard labor to mowing a lawn and
Yeah.
saying that that was the hard work, and
Yeah.
that, and they probably appreciated it so much, and you're like, well, this is easier than drywalling.
It was funny because back at my real estate brokerage, all the realtors would laugh at me and say, "You're crazy. I would never do that." Like they would say all this stuff, and I'd be like, you know what? From where I'm coming from, this is easy. Like, you guys are barely working for your business, and I'm working my ass off here. So to me, I never thought of it as like something funny. I thought of it as like, you guys keep doing your thing, and you just wait. You just wait, because one day, I'm going to be sitting in a position where, like now, where I don't have to do those things to get the business, but I still do those things. I still do those things just because I can, and because that's how I keep the business. So I might not necessarily go and do a bunch of weed whacking like I did, back 5 years ago when I was just getting started. But we do a lot of stuff for our clients. We will pay to have their house staged. I've dealt with a lot of people with like borderline hoarding issues, okay? And when you're trying to sell a hoarder's house and they've got stuff everywhere, like a medical condition, you got to know how to handle that, because you got to think they need to move. There's no question. They need to get into downsizing. They got to get rid of their stairs. Their hips are bad. They're old, and they are not capable of cleaning their house up enough to get it to the point where someone's going to buy it. So that's where I come in, and I'm like, I need to facilitate this transaction. I need to get them from where they need to, from where they are, for where they need to go. They need to get into an old age home, whatever the case may be. So many different circumstances when I'm dealing with the public. Obviously, there's tons of different circumstances. But my job is now I get a company, I come in, that comes in, they completely clean the house. They put all their stuff into like a metal container, obviously with the permission of the seller, because some people are like, no, keep it the way it is. It'll sell like that. It doesn't ever sell. But I help them get there. And a lot of the time they don't know how to do it. They don't have the resources. They don't have the contacts, which I have, which is, at the end of the day, I just need to get them from where they are in a not great position to where they need to be. And I do that as smoothly and as stress-free as possible.